Paper 1, Section 1, Natural Hazards Case Study Japan and Nepal. We study the effects and responses of earthquakes in two different countries to compare how the wealth of the country impacts these factors. Let's find out more about Japan and Nepal. Japan is a high-income country which rates high on the Human Development Index, which is based on the life expectancy, education, and income of the population, and gross national income, which measures everyone's income in the country. We will be looking at the earthquake that happened in March 2011. On the other hand, we have Nepal. Nepal is a low-income country with a very low HDI and NII, and we will be looking at the earthquake that happened in April 2015. The impacts of earthquakes is something we study as geographers. We categorize these effects into primary and secondary effects. Primary effects are caused by the ground shaking and include injury, buildings being destroyed, and death. Secondary effects are results from the shaking, including landslides, tsunamis, and fires. The Japan earthquake in March 2011 was caused by the North American plate subducting beneath the Pacific plate, resulting in a magnitude 9.0 earthquake. The primary effects of this earthquake were violent ground shaking causing many injuries and few deaths, thousands of homes destroyed, and disruptions to power, water, sanitations, and communications. The secondary effects were a 10-meter-high tsunami, which caused 18,000 deaths and left 500,000 people homeless. It destroyed port facilities, infrastructure, and homes. It triggered an explosion at Fukushima nuclear power plant and caused $235 billion in damages. The Nepal earthquake in April 2015 was caused by the Indo-Australian plate colliding with the Eurasian plate and caused a magnitude 7.9 earthquake. The primary effects were 9,000 people were killed and 20,000 people were injured. 3 million people were left homeless and power, water, sanitation, and communications were cut, causing $5 billion in damages. The secondary effects were communications being cut off by landslides and avalanches, which affected relief getting to the area. Avalanches on Mount Everest killed 19 people. A landslide blocked the Kali Gandaki River, which threatened flooding to the area. So an earthquake has just happened. What now? The responses to earthquakes are categorized into immediate and long-term responses. Immediate responses take place within hours to months after an earthquake has occurred. Examples include search and rescue teams finding survivors, providing food, water, and medical care to survivors and taking care of them. Long-term responses are responses that take place months to years after an earthquake, and include rebuilding and reconstructing houses, schools, hospitals, any buildings that were damaged, and restoring normal life. The immediate responses to the Japan earthquake were as follows. 500,000 people evacuated to higher ground before the tsunami struck. Japanese search and rescue worked for days but found few survivors. Key roads and railways were repaired within weeks, and power was soon restored. But supply was limited due to the explosion at Fukushima. And the long-term responses were laid out in a 10-year plan from 2012 to 2022. There was an upgraded tsunami system that launched in 2013. Seawalls and embankments were constructed to prevent further flooding, and 30,000 new houses replaced temporary homes by 2020. On the other hand, the immediate responses to the Nepal earthquake were, an international search and rescue teams rescued 16 survivors, 300,000 people migrated from Kathmandu, the capital, to seek shelter from family and friends. Also, helicopters dropped aid in remote areas such as Mount Everest, and the World Vision International provided emergency food kits for 8,000 people. And the long-term responses were, most roads were repaired and landslides were cleared by late 2015. 212,000 new homes were constructed by September 2020, and UNESCO is working with the government to restore 700 damaged temples, palaces, and museums. Now we have studied the effects and responses of an earthquake in a high-income country, Japan, and a low-income country, Nepal. What comparison can we make? Well, more people were left homeless in Nepal, 3 million, compared to Japan where 500,000 were left homeless. Nepal relied on international aid and rescue teams where Japan provided their own, and Japan provided temporary homes for people, whereas people in Nepal had to migrate from the capital to stay with family and friends. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed learning about the effects and responses to a natural hazard.